Hi everyone, 12 News meteorologist Steven Matrigrano here with a look at your Weather Now update. Of course, first and foremost, the main story is that heat advisory that continues until 8 p.m. this evening, especially across interior areas for the feels like temperatures for the afternoon and evening in the 90 to 95 range. And, down at the beaches, it's not as bad and not as warm and muggy and humid, but it is, you can see those temperatures in the 80s across the board. So again, across the entire area, not as hot as it was on Thursday, but still that summer-like feel in the air. Upper 70s to around 80 at the beaches, looking at a low to mid 80s inland. But the feels like temperatures inland feels like the 90s. So that is why that heat advisory is in place and not in place at the coastline, because it feels more like the actual air temperatures. For the rest of this afternoon, again, lots of clouds, some sunshine as well. So we'll call it mostly cloudy with those breaks of sun. Temperatures in the 80s, again, away from the shoreline. They'll be falling through the evening hours. Of course, all the attention is on Hurricane Lee. Was a Category 5 this morning. It's slightly lower than that at a Category 4 with winds of 155 miles per hour. It's basically a Category 5 because the winds would be, if they're 157 miles per hour or higher, it would be a Category 5. So you can see that there with, again, not too far off from Category 5 status. Winds northwest, or moving northwest, around 13 miles per hour pressure, 942 millibars. And again, Lee continues to churn north and west. Should track north of the Lesser Antilles and north of Puerto Rico and even north of the Dominican Republic, and also looks to be north and east of the Bahamas as we go forward into next week. Notice those winds really holding steady here. The Category 4 status pretty much from now through next Wednesday. And you can see that last area of the cone there, that little bit of that curvature, eventually is expected to make a turn northward. It's a matter of how soon or how late that happens. And again, does the track kind of go on the right side of that cone? Does it go on the left side of that cone? Does it go down the middle? These are all questions that we're going to be trying to figure out as we go forward through the weekend into next week. As for any impacts across the east coast of the U.S. or even just here in New England, it's certainly just far too early to know exactly what is going to happen with this storm, because there's so many moving parts that are still being kind of narrowed down over the next several days. So this is one of the ones that we'll just say we're watching it. And of course, we'll have more updates as we go forward in time. But this is, again, a dangerous hurricane out in the Atlantic and should be taken seriously, at least with the monitoring side of things. But as we go forward, again, we'll narrow down exactly what this means